Yes.
All right, we've got Mind Over Matter happening. We actually chose to move this to later in the day on Wednesday because we see kind of ongoing Wednesday afternoons are a little harder to trade. And it was like, what's happening right now? Nothing really. I am in an active trade that is the ES long that I alerted in the futures alert, but it's really typically not an active trading time. So this is the time we really talk about the things that we're seeing our members struggling with. We're seeing consistent, like questions about things and going from there. So one of the things I want to start with, and I tagged you with this in Market Talk earlier, of D Cruz had the right idea, and I had some stuff going business wise for my brick and mortar businesses that I couldn't trade this morning, or I looked at the charts this morning and then couldn't trade due to my regular schedule, like an hour after market open. But you posted about it, and then I posted about it like, hey, we're, sitting on our hands. We're kind of just watching how things unfold. So I'd like to hear your feedback on that because I think it would be helpful for members to understand you didn't even stream this morning. I didn't either, but what were your thoughts on that?
Right. Yeah. Well, starting with SPY, I did see the gap down, or sorry, our gap up actually, after our, our large move down, and typically after a larger move down, or just a larger move in really any direction, I don't really typically like to hop in and trade right away. I kind of just like to fill out how the day is going to be. We could have easily, continued to sell off, and we saw that with the 10 a.m. candle, and it was we brought it back down to that major, 420.50 support right there, 420.6. So I was just really patient with all of that, and then I saw those the larger moves, and then now we see, the starting to get kind of whippy. So once again, like as you said, as you mentioned, I'm not even trading this as well. Just kind of sitting on hands as well, but I do have a couple longer positions. But other than that, short term, not looking for too much because Monday banks are closed. And thank you for correcting me earlier as well. I forgot who did. I thought the market would be closed, but yeah, no, it's just bank holiday. But that
Just
is
the
going to
banks.
actually.
So if you're trading a cash account,
Mm-hmm.
and I usually trade, 30-40% of my cash accounts, and I do keep my main account as cash. I don't have it on margin because I don't need to trade more than what I have available. I usually
Right.
trade much less than that, and I that's something to actually think about as far as, talking with members. There are so many people who are like, I have no trades left and I'm on a cash account, but I have no settled cash left. And I'm like, that doesn't really happen for me. I mean, there's been some times years past that I'm like, well, all right, would keep trading, but I am on a cash account because I traded that much. And it was like a 20% day, which for me is pretty spectacular on an options account.
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
very
Yeah.
unusual. But if most traders are out of available funds from the settled cash, that means you needed to stop anyway. And if you had a margin account, you probably wouldn't. And then here we are, given the profits back. So capital preservation has to be the main focus. And a lot of times the capital preservation happens because you choose to sit out, which is what I saw D. Cruz post this morning of like, hey, there's like the economic data, the Fed speakers, all that stuff. I just am really not interested in. And you took a couple trades, you have, some little longer dated positions on, but you have to
Right.
listen to your analysts. So the biggest thing is you have to listen to what we're doing. And sometimes us doing nothing is not, I mean, I was busy a little bit in my normal Wednesday morning, but I'm also just sitting here watching, had some very nice long trade
Yeah,
earlier. Yeah.
we're in a very critical spot in the market to, just be extra patient. We're very close to those, there's always a better day to trade. Like, and I mean, even that, I mean, there's more reasons why we say, there's always a better day to trade. Also, just growth aspects. You get better each day. You learn something every day. So that's another reason why I say that, there's always a better day to trade because you'll be better today or tomorrow than you are today, right? So, um, But yeah, right now it's just really, really, we just really got to be patient. I mean, Apple's at a critical, 170 to 173, like 174-ish range right now. If we do pull lower than that, like I don't like to really play tech upside below Apple 170, but um, yeah, it's just, it's best to just kind of wait for the trend, but I'm just going to kind of start taking, um,
Oh, and I
um,
just realized we're in stages and I had the event set up to happen in regular voice. So bear with me. I need to go post that. Dang it.
right. I also did too,
Okay,
right
good.
above. Yeah, I got into
Okay.
market talk,
If you're
but
good, then I don't have to worry about that. Awesome. I'm
yeah,
normally so I've been going in stages a little bit more because if we have members who want to raise their hand, and we can,
mhm,
consider from a staff perspective taking off the permissions of like people can come on voice and talk with the understanding that if you come on voice or you log into voice and you're not muted and there's a problem, you will be server muted and it will not be like we can talk about when that's lifted. But here you can just raise your hand in the stages and we can accept like, you know, for you to come on, ask questions, and we're good with that. So if you're struggling with something, I would love to hear and it's hard to, bare your soul. I guess that is that's what trading is, bearing your soul.
mhm.
But to tell people what you did in your trade. So if you didn't do well today, if you did do well today, we'd like to hear some of that, regardless, whether it's tagging us in market talk or giving us some feedback. Because one of the things we're really focused on is not that we're alerting our trades and you're taking them. It's that you're learning, you're adapting, you're growing your trading business, which we always have to go back to. This is your business. My risk tolerances are not decrews. My trading understanding is not what somebody else is. And it is very much
Yep.
individual, but we're here together as a community to like learn and grow together. And sometimes we have conflicting views. Sometimes we're like, well, I'm long, you're short. Let's see how it works. But we're not trading against each other. We're not saying that person's wrong. This is how we're viewing what we're trading. And
Right.
it could
And also
be on a
there's, oh,
5 minute time
sorry.
frame and I'm on a 1 hour time frame or whatever that is. It can be very, very different. But yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say there's even, days where, you might see things better than I, and, other days, vice versa. And it's just, that's why, I love I love trading with the community as well. So,
Right.
my off days too, it's kind of just nice to kind of sit back and be like, oh, like Cedar's nailing those trades, right? Or, just
Right.
kind of see, just what others see and just kind of learn from that as well. Because I mean, we're always learning, even as many years as we have
Yeah. You
experience,
should always
So
be learning. The
a lesson
moment
a day.
somebody thinks, oh, I've got this, you're about to have your
The market will
hat
humble you. Yeah,
handed to you and be like, oh,
to
so
say
you
the
like that
least.
hat and that umbrella. Let me show you what that can be done. Like, so it
Oh yeah.
really, there's always lessons. And if you're not consistently looking for what can you learn from this situation, and I was going to post about that, but then I was like, well, we're going to do the mind over matter session here in just a little bit. So what can you learn from today? Not from the market, but from how you responded to the market. So we've been trading light, but what have you been doing? Have you been like, dang, there's not as many alerts today? I'm gonna, like, and we've had some really good ones, but we have not been as prolific as a server in general as we typically are, which I think shows from a responsibility perspective, we're trading what we're trading, right? But
Oh,
if you're
absolutely. We're
over
not forcing
trading
anything. Mhm.
and forcing it, and we're not,
Hey, what's going on, D Cruz and Cedar? How's it going? Shell Shock here.
good. How are you? We're actually doing the mind over matter.
How's
Oh,
it going?
good,
Yeah,
good, good.
awesome to see you here.
I was I kind of second what you guys were talking about there because just even from a kind of being one of the newer analysts, it's interesting, when it's always opportunities to learn when somebody goes on the trade basically in the opposite direction as you, and then even if you're not taking the trades, it's interesting. You can always just learn from different things how other people trade, and sometimes you might not understand why a trade went against you, but maybe you know, you can learn. That can be a learning opportunity from you as well. So um, it's not
That's
that,
key
you
right
know,
there.
we kind of came
Learning
together as a
opportunity,
community,
right?
but
Yeah, it's a learning opportunity. And we all
yeah,
have our own perspectives, but it's not that anybody's wrong. So we're not trying to trade against each other. There's a lot of times where I'm walking off. So I own a gym. So I have two brick and mortar businesses. So own a gym, also own an electrical contracting business. My husband's been an electrical contractor for a long time. And we're like, service work is like you're helping people, you get paid right away. It's a beautiful thing. Do we want to do any more like new builds on Walmarts? Absolutely not, because they don't pay you for, I don't know, like 9 months. And you're like, right, if you got deep pockets, you'll live through that. However, when we're talking about trading, we're talking about running a business, it's the same as those two different ones. So I've got my fitness business, I've got my electrical business, and we've got the trading business. We have to be able to walk into those individually and be able to manage them. If there is a worry about something, if there's stress about something, none of them are going to be dealt with well. And that's a huge thing to remember. Oh, hold on. I'll be right back.
But
Okay.
yeah, just to kind of second back like to what we were saying, if we're not trading, it's not typically because we don't want to. I mean, there's some days, of course, but I'll of course mention that like, hey, I'm taking a day off, and I'll explain why. But if I'm not seeing anything, it's usually why I'm not trading, and I'm not gonna like force myself, and that's usually why I don't stream or as or just kind of just you won't really see me as active. I mean, I'll be of course putting up charts and whatnot, but it's just if there's nothing to really trade, I don't want to be you know around for it and be kind of tempted to get into a trade because even as experienced as we are, we still kind of get tempted. So
Oh yeah, no, if you've got
I
the
just
screens
like to
up
just walk
and
away.
you're like,
Yep.
all right,
Oh yeah.
oh, what are you looking at? And
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
something, even from the perspective of I've been trading 21 years since February 2002. And D Cruz has been around for a long time, like 6 and something years, like a long time, way before the whole COVID explosion.
Right.
And sometimes you literally just, I mean, my best suggestion is to take the batteries out of your mouse and hand them to somebody who's like, I'm not giving them back to you. For me, it would be a spouse. For somebody, it might be a best friend or whatever. Of like, I don't need to be trading this. If you're finding yourself compulsively trading because you have to be in a trade, because you don't have to be in a trade.
And then we've also talked about this before. We don't, we already spend however many hours a week, at our desk and sitting at our computers and the whenever it's unactionable and just kind of with BPA or just something you don't really like to trade, just walk away, just get some screen time away, and that just kind of helps you, balance everything. And I know, I mean, everybody has chores to do, and we all have something else to do. So just go do that, come back,
I'm
see if you
out of
like
my
it.
ES long at 4278 half, exiting ES long 4278.50. Sorry, go ahead.
Nice. No. But yeah, just kind of, just come back, and if you'd like it, if something's, standing out to you, that's the time to trade. But anything else, you don't really want to force. And I feel like the longer you look at the screen, the more you're going to get tempted, and that's just, that's normal. So if you need to walk away, walk away.
And then the flip side is practicing that Odysseus and the Sirens. He had his sailors tie
yeah.
him
No,
to the
I
mast
agree with you
and be
guys
like,
wholeheartedly
look,
because actually, I think I may be assuming this, but I'm kind of similar to Cedar in the sense that you love charting. Like I absolutely love charting. I could look at it for really long periods of time. So I have to be very conscious about, how much screen time I have and just, so to the point that if I feel like when I took a turn for the better in my training was when I tried to limit the amount of trades and try to envision the trades by studying like the overnight activity and try to identify a few different scalps, few different if this happens, if then type of statements, and if then type of trade setups prior to the market opening, and more so focus on those, more so than taking every single scout in every single setup, just kind of narrowing down like
Quality over quantity.
the quality over quantity, exactly.
Yep.
And that's just been it's done wonders for me. You know, I was kind of streaming earlier. I was potentially looking for some type of short covering rally if we, got acceptance, price acceptance above the overnight high, and I was kind of giving everybody my levels, and we just didn't get it. So I just alerted one quick scout that I did. I think me and Cedar was in the same ES long trade. I think I got a little bit sooner, but you just take the trades that you feel comfortable with, that over time have proven to be high quality setups for you. Like everybody says, it's you're treating it like a business, and it's even though I like charting, I like looking at this, I do this, this is a good percentage of my income. I've started trading full time like the last 7 to 8 months. And I have a consulting business that I do on the side that takes up a good amount of my time because I'm trying to grow that business out. But as of right now, this is a lot of my income. So I don't try to overdo it. I try to take trades that make sense to me, and trades that I'm comfortable with. It's perfect setups that I'll see other analysts kind of call out, and it's just it works. It makes sense. It's just not my setup, and I don't feel comfortable. And you want to always feel comfortable in the trades that you're in, and feel
That's a
comfortable
big
with the
piece.
setups that you take.
D Cruz and I have talked about this a bunch. So I don't trade Apple because I don't really see the moves in Apple that I typically like to see as far as individual tickers. But if I'm in a QQQ call and there's D Cruz in Apple, I'm like, oh, confirmation, right? So we want to use our analysts and the trading community. And you have to be careful because not everybody who's posting all their gains, all their things is a seasoned trader. Sometimes they're literally just looking for cred, right? They want credibility. You have to really pay attention. And one of the reasons we have the Trusted Trader program is to kind of like take our members that we're seeing trading super well and give them a little higher rank. So if you see them in member alerts, they'll have a little check mark next to their name. That's different than everybody randomly posting, which is, I say random in the nicest way. I'm going to try not to be mean, but sometimes there are people that are posting things that they've been trading for 3 months. They have no idea what they're posting about. So just make sure anywhere you're looking, whether it's social media, whether it's inside a Discord server, that you're familiar with that person's trades. And when I first came into bull trades, I've been trading for 18 and a half years, something like that, 19, something around there. And I was like, all right, let me see what these guys are doing. So I'm going to paper trade. And I came in paper trading everyone's trades because I wanted to see how they traded. I wanted to see what you're looking at. Does that fit with what I'm looking at? And I'm not going to put my money, my real money on the line, figuring out who is trading along the lines that I understand. And so I came in, I put some alerts, I posted a bunch of stuff in psychology, but I wasn't like taking everyone's trades. And I see that so many times. And I've been in 60 plus Discord servers, I've been everywhere looking for my trading home, knowing that I'm like, why are we taking this? Like, what are we doing? Because there's a lot of people out there running Discord servers that have been trading for 2 or 3 years, unfortunately. Even at that point, it had been like 6 months, and you don't know until you follow them and get a feel for it. So my general suggestion is that anytime you're coming into a new service, anywhere, take a week and get to know who's trading what and how they trade and what their tolerances are before you start putting your hard-earned money, because you earned it somewhere, you got it somewhere, following someone you're not familiar with. And that can be on FinTwit, that can be in Discord servers, that can be here. But not everybody is going to be aligned with what you need to be trading for your personal portfolio. As opposed to, I'm taking all the alerts everywhere. And now it's from 3 Discord servers and 2 people you follow on FinTwit. And now you've got 25 trades and 2 of them are profitable today.
That would be gambling,
Oh,
in my opinion.
brutal.
Definitely just like, especially if you're just kind of server hop and you gotta, make a feel for it and see who trades the closest to your style. And if you don't really have a trading style yet, or trading strategy, then, just kind of sit back and just kind of learn and see what works for you, what kind of trading, works for your schedule. Just kind of like whenever you're going to be trading, however long you have, how much screen time you have. And that's really important too. Just, if you're trying to take, those quicker plays like the day trades, and you can only check your screen for maybe, you know, 20, 30 minutes out of, every, every so couple hours or whatever. Just kind of, just maybe sit back and wait for swings, or, whenever we have a market for swings, maybe that's just, better suits you, or just, just little quicker trades. But
Okay, so
it's
what
kind of
you're
really
saying
just,
with swings scares me a little bit. Had
well,
like 6 months
I mean,
ago would
whenever
not,
there's,
because
yeah,
I keep wanting to take swings, and here we are again. I'll take a couple stabs, and then I'm like, I normally have about 30 to 35% of my portfolio deployed in swings, and then I'm day trading with some of my portfolio. I have not
right. Yeah,
had a
whenever
lot,
there's like
right?
swings, like whenever we have time for swings, or whenever it's actually swing season. But
Yeah. So the
until
setups for
then, yeah, we
swings,
just gotta kind of trade what's given to us.
right. So what's out there? And if you're waiting for
Yeah,
swings, you might be waiting for a while. And I think
yeah,
that's a huge piece, is trading what's available. And I hear that all the time. "Oh, like to see more swings." And I'm like, I would like to be
yeah. I
in
see
more
that a lot.
swings.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And
same.
trust me, if I could be, and I know D Cruz as well, and a lot of our analysts swing trade a lot more. But right now, we're finding that that's not the environment that we're trading in. So if we don't think about adaptability, if we don't think about, you know, the current environment that we're trading in, and we're continuing to try to trade right now like we did a year ago or 2 years ago, you end up in trouble, which is why we
Yep.
don't oversize, which is why we're, consistently, trying to post levels, trying to post charts, but reminding people that this is not the same market you were trading 2 years ago.
And a lot of that, is found, if you guys don't know why you're taking losses, you really have to start journaling and just see, just where you're going wrong, just, or not even just going wrong, just maybe, you're maybe just trading the wrong times, you're maybe just, getting a little early on your entries. And you can kind of just find all that out by just charting, or journaling, sorry. But yeah,
And
just kind
also
of,
I would say, in addition to, maybe, instead of just hopping from analyst to analyst, room to room, I think that cool thing about our community is the variety of instruments that we trade. It's, we have, people who trade crypto very well. We have people who do common shares. We have futures, options. Eh, just keep an open mind to trading different instruments as well. I've felt like, I've kind of started my journey off, honestly trading crypto, swing trading crypto, to day trading crypto, to kind of day trading stocks, to then I kind of found options a little bit later on, and but I feel like I found my niche here in futures, and I'll do options as well. But I it's sometimes it takes a while to just kind of figure out, what market works best for the instrument, and what market is paying you the best. It's a game of self-reflection. Like, that's what trading is. It's just something that you just
No better
constantly.
mirror than trading your trading account, how you trade it, like anything you struggle with, as far as being impulsive, or as far as, not good self control. And impulsive and self control are two different things, but also being greedy, all that
yep.
stuff, if it's showing up somewhere else, it's in your trading account, and you lost money because of it, because you don't have an understanding of how to manage that aspect of your personality. And it is what it is. So you,
And it doesn't mean anything less of you as a trader if you decide to not trade, a certain instrument, or SPX, or options, or futures, or I don't want to touch crypto, or maybe I want to dab in, learn a little bit more about crypto, or learn a little bit more about, just swing trading or day trading. It takes a while. You have to find like what works best for you, and over time you can add a couple different things in there.
and that's an important point. So if you're struggling right now in your live account, that's when you switch to sim. Or if you're up beautifully, like you've had a wonderful profitable day, and you're like, you know what? I think this is going to happen. As soon as you say, I think, switch off your regular account, get out of
Yep.
that, like log out, go to a
Don't
sim
do it.
account, go to paper trade, go to whatever you need to, and you go test your thinking because it probably is going to cost you money. You don't have to stop trading, but if you're testing it and you're being responsible, you're still journaling. And this is a big piece. If you're not journaling your paper trades, your sim trades with why I took it, and there's sometimes that for me in the past, I would write down, this is gambling, but I'm done trading with my real account, so I'm going to go see what happens. But I'm taking that responsibility for my trading business, saying I'm logging out of my actual cash account that I trade, that I have real money in, moving into a sim or into a paper account. And like, I have this gambling urge. And I'm not really a gambler, but if I've already made money or I'm seeing the market well and now I took a loss and I'm like, all right, I'm going to step out for a little bit. I don't want to stop trading. I love looking at charts. And I don't think that's ever going to go away at this point, 20 years later. So if you're finding yourself over trading and losing money, I'm going to have you write a post-it note and be like, is what I'm doing in my best interest? Just question mark. You just put it there. Because every once in a while, when you flip over that, it's right next to your trading screen, you might say, I can still be trading, but on a sim account or on a paper account, instead of now I gave back half of my gains, or worse yet, all of my gains, or even worse, now I'm red on the day because I wanted to still look at charts. That's not okay.
Paper trading, yeah, as much as you guys think it's, frowned upon or whatever, I mean, it really is it's a gift. I mean, you could actually practice trading without losing money or, putting any risk out there. That's golden. So
And it
just
has
test
to be run
strategies and
as
just
the
be patient
same
with the actual money.
as you'd be trading. So, paper trading as gambling is different. But what D Cruz is
Right.
saying is you don't have to be losing money to test something. Anytime I've got a new strategy, I'll come back and be like, all right,
Because that's frustrating.
well, it's super if that's your primary source of income, it's super frustrating to be spending money because that's what you're doing. You're literally
Oh, yeah.
recreationally like trying to figure stuff out. But why not test it with a sim account? Why not test it with a paper account
For free. Yeah.
for free? And you
Yep.
lost, you're like, well, that wasn't right. But it's not one or two trades, it's over and over and over again. You have to see you're redefining an edge on a new strategy. So when I talk about edge, and I do that a lot, you have to find one thing you trade really well. And if you're not journaling, you'll never find that. I will just put that out there. Once you journal, you find you're like, oh, that right there,
Exactly.
that setup, that's the trade that makes me money.
Yeah.
And then you get back into your old habits, which is all of us. And then you're in that like, oh, dang it, here I am in a 10% trade, out of my portfolio instead of 5% because I averaged down. And this was my old habit that I used to fall into. If you're not journaling that, whether it's paper or real money, because you don't want to face the truth, you're going to be continuing to fund your account with your money. And I'm here to tell you, and D Cruz is like, we've talked about this. If you want to go back to the Mind Over Matter that we've recorded, I think we've been doing this for eight months, something like that, a long time. You have to go back and you have to reflect on it. And if you're continuing to fund an account with your personal funds, with your money that you earn outside trading, there is an issue. Have to identify what that issue is because it can be like probably 100 different things. Trading accounts are meant to be funded one time as a profit producing or as an income producing business. And then you're taking the profits out of them at prescripted or standard set times. So whether that's weekly, whether that's daily, for some people, you got a huge pop, you're up 10% on your account. Why would you not take that profit out? That's yours. Because what'll happen is the next day you're like, oh, I'm brilliant. Look at me. I'm a great trader. And then you give it back plus another 10%. So paying yourself, making sure that you're, carrying that forward and thinking about it as a business is one of the biggest things. And paper trading will help you with that, but the psychology piece is why we're here of
And remember, we're saying these things out of, we've been there, done that. We're not just saying this might happen.
oh
We've done
times
this,
I
and
don't know,
it's
10
very
times.
common, and we've seen this, countless amount of times, hundreds of times, based on what we do. And it's just, we're trying to help you prevent these, and they will happen still. It's just, we're going to try to help them happen less, if you will, because that's just part of learning. And these are just everyday things, and just, everything you have to constantly kind of just imprint into your brain. So, we're not just making these things up, you guys. And don't feel like it's just you or something, because I guarantee you everything that you're going through right now, everybody has gone through, or 97, 98% have
No,
gone
I'm going to
through,
go
right?
with everyone. I have never met a trader that's like, oh, I showed up and I was perfect. I've
Yeah.
met
Right,
them. They've been
right.
trading for a month and then they get literally their ass handed to them, just fully like clapped,
Mhm.
bam, batted down.
I'm just kind of going for like the 2-3%, maybe, like, they haven't gotten that far. But
Right.
we could, yeah.
So consistent profitability is what matters. If you are very successful early on and you are not humbled by the market, you will be eventually. And the best
Oh,
possible
yeah.
thing that can happen, even though it seems super painful, is that the sooner you are humbled, so that you respect your capital, so that you respect that this is not something that's easy money, it's something that's a multi-billion-dollar business to the tune of trillions, multi-billion per trade, per, situation. It is the biggest business everywhere. Everywhere. It's where big money is. So if you think you can come here and like, oh, I'm smart, you are going to have some lessons at some point, and I hope it's sooner rather than later so you can kind of get on the right path of, for you, what do you need? For you to make it financially, how does this turn out?
Yeah, it's almost best to even almost not focus on how much money you're making in the
Oh,
beginning. Is more
never.
so it's more so just kind of perfecting, your setups, your pre-market activities, everything you like to look at, kind of narrowing down like what you
The
actually trade
process.
best. Kind of it's better to, some of the things that, we'll hear in the chat, like, oh man, I need to learn how to chart. And it's like, well, charting it's not the hardest thing. It's something that, you definitely have to, it's a skill that you have to gain over time, and you have to put your hours in, put the work in. But
Oh, all the
it's
time.
really the self-reflection portion of trading that's really causes us to fail, causes us to have issues. And the more you're really self-reflective, the more you kind of narrow down, like, okay, I just don't trade this anymore. I don't like I don't trade Boeing anymore. I like you, I don't
Right,
trade
that's
Apple
blacklisted.
anymore. Um, I used to trade Nvidia quite a bit, a lot. Like, it just hasn't been acting the way I want it to, so
It's
I don't
also
trade
been
anymore. I
blacklisted.
made a decent amount of money off of it. Now I don't even trade it much at all anymore. And it doesn't mean anything about me or about me as a trader. You just kind of you
Whatever
just
works for
take
you.
that, you take what the market gives you, and you just do what works, right? So you don't have to be great at trading SPX to be a great trader. You don't have to be great at trading SPY or QQQ. You figure out what works for you, and that's where you start, and you just kind of go from there.
That was something that I talked with Nickel about yesterday. We were talking in Market Talk. So he said something about Invax, and I was like, well, I traded Invax from fall of 2019 into spring of 2021 from like $4 to 280 something. And it was because my husband said, hey, you should put like 5%, like choose 5 companies, put 5% in biotech. I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not touching that. He's like, 5%. What does it really matter? And I was like, all right, I'm going to find five. The other ones, I think, went from like I don't know. They were definitely down like 60, 70, 80%. And I don't really care if it's 1%, like it's tiny positions. But then taking something from 4% to 200 plus percent. When I sold it and I made my brother sell it, so I was like, well, you should look at this. It's like 450 right now, and I think there's some potential here. I'm not sure about the other ones, but look at this one. So he bought it probably at 525. It was a little bit higher. And he was still sitting in it above 300, and I was like, what are you doing? What this is a complete horrible company. This is not like, oh, now it's going to be the next Amazon. It's literally not going to be. So take your profits, take that money out, pay your taxes on it, and move on. So eventually sold it, and that was about 300 when that happened. He sold it like 240. He's like, damn it, I should have listened. But then he kept watching the chart. So 6, 8 months later, when it like kept falling, he's like, how about I buy it now? I was like, nope, you're done with that. Literally delete it. Don't even look at it. Don't have it in your setup. Don't have it anywhere in your watch list. We're done with that ticker. And that's what I told Nicola yesterday. I was like, all right, so it's at whatever level, like $8. I don't even remember. Just because we had success with something doesn't mean we continue to go back
Don't
to
get
that.
married to it.
Yeah, we're not married to any of this. So long-term holds is married. Swing trading is, engaged. And everything less than that, there is no commitment. You're there to take your money and run. We have to be super careful. Just because you made money before doesn't mean you should be looking at that chart like, oh, when's the next one?
Oh yeah.
What does that happen? What's that look like? Yeah. On to the next.
Part of why I kind of blacklisted Tesla. I mean, it was just kind of acquiring too much of my attention after it basically, it was one of those big account starters for me, and it was a big gainer, 1 year, right? And then after that, it's just kind of just another stock. So I was just kind of looking at it as a big gainer, and then just kind of just like looking at it wrong, and it's just I had the wrong perception of it. So now it's just I personally won't trade it, but yeah, it is a common thing to go through.
For sure. And you'll see when Thor and I do the lunch and learn charting sessions, I'll open something. I'm like, oh, if I'm thinking about this, as far as that's one of the COVID stocks. So whether that's Zoom or whatever, I'll just throw that out
Yep.
there. If there's a big spike like that, I literally cut the top off of it. I don't even think about like what the potential is. Like, could it pop back
Okay.
there? Because it could be 25 years or 50 years until it's back
Until
there.
it fills that, yep.
And it might.
Especially like prime example, AMC,
Oh,
right?
Not-
Everybody else is still
not.
holding. How many people do you guys still know is still holding at like 20 a share? And it's they're still thinking 100 a share, right? Which is like,
Brutal.
oh, it's $3. Come on.
right.
Like
Brutal.
these things happen though. It's that these things happen. So it's important to just sell those large bubble ups, especially when you get them, because it's not going to hold forever. That's just a miracle, and those things don't happen. Another example would be Tesla. It's just slowly trickling down over time, but I mean, eventually it will more than likely go back up. But yeah,
It's some of us who just won't touch Baba or JD or any of the ADRs.
I don't
Just
touch
stay.
anything China. Nothing.
yeah, me neither. I don't
None.
trust the China. I don't trust Hang Seng enough to be asleep and have my money overnight just in control of another country. So because yeah, so me
Well,
personally, no.
it's not even another country. It's a ticker that you don't actually own. You don't have a
Yeah.
stock certificate that you actually own it. It's an ADR, which is what Shell Shock
We're
said.
getting a nice breakout right now.
Oh,
Sorry,
so
this is
we're
beautiful.
actually above the previous high of the day,
Mhm.
which
And
is
overnight.
T+2 low of the day is just above us, which is second
Right.
standard
Yeah.
deviation.
That
So
would be
4296.25.
Yeah, 426.66 on SPY for anybody. That's at 10 a.m. Wick, the 9:30 Wick, 10 a.m.
Oh, I'm gonna have to go
Yesterday,
look at SPY. Oh, that was yesterday. Okay.
Yep,
Oh, yeah.
yesterday, yes. But we're over that overnight right now, and it's just we're going up QQQ almost 360. I'm gonna check the contracts. I actually don't have my broker open, but those longs on day one are up almost 10% here, and that's just beautiful to see. There's 380 calls for December for Qs.
Very nice. So I'm still sitting kind of, hesitant as far as where we are in October. There is
Yeah.
some positioning, some stuff that happens in that first week in October that I want to sit back and watch just a little bit. But this is definitely the point where we're starting to think, is this the bottom of where we are, right? Our swing low of what we're trading. And there's no way, no one knows. Anyone that tells you they know probably has not been around for very long and probably will not be around for very long once, a changing market happens. So, making sure that you're not just listening to somebody who is talking a bunch, but really paying attention to what you can learn from the server, what you can, understand about charting, looking at the higher time frames. Those kind of levels are really, really important, because we are not
Yep.
here just to make fast money. We're here to make consistent, profitable money that makes generational wealth. And that's one of the biggest things I hear is, I'm doing this so I can take care of my family. If you're gambling, if you're full porting, half porting, quarter
That is
porting,
not the correct mentality.
you will not be taking care of your
Think
family.
longevity, think, $50, $100 a day is huge, especially if you have a 9 to 5 still. Average out that income. Seriously, you guys average out how many trading days, like multiply, 50 or 100 times each trading day plus your salary. And, be humble about it, you guys. And, more will come eventually because you'll get better at this. But don't
Exactly.
look for that, the miracle growth the first year because that's just gambling. I mean, kind of what that, like for me, sports betting, it's just like it's a whole different mentality for me. So I limit myself to $10 deposits here and there, and I gamble. If you guys want to do that, do that. Sure, whatever. It's $10, but don't do it with the stock market because I promise you, this is actually different. You could actually make a living from this, and it's just not like gambling, like a lot of people will say, and they compare it to other casinos or other gambling. But it's really not like that.
Well, and some people have that tilt of, or that I like to gamble. I like the rush. If you know that about yourself and you know who you are, if you know that about yourself, you can go and you can, take a small amount of money in a different account. I would not be doing it in your regular account. If that's something that is entertainment for you, you have to identify that this is my entertainment account or my entertainment budget, and this is my trading business. Because you might have that gambling kind of pull, and not fulfilling it makes you unhappy. So for some people, that's paper trading. You can go be gambly all you want because it's about the numbers. And I joke about this. We've got a workout at the gym that I call the luck of the draw, which is the cards determine the order of the exercises. I determine the volume, but the cards tell you when they're coming up. And I joke all the time, all right, you're super good at, like guessing it. You knew it ahead of time. You knew that was going to be a squat jump, or you knew it was going to be a push up. We're going to the casino. But the joke is that you're guessing it well, you're seeing it well. It's not that I'm going to the casino to go gamble because I feel like it. It's because it's nice to have that feedback sometimes. So if you're having the gambling push, or that you want that rush, you have to identify when you feel it, and then have an outlet that's not going to destroy your account, not going to destroy your future, not going to affect how your family's livelihood is from a generational perspective, while you can still have some enjoyment or some entertainment. Just being able to identify this is entertainment versus this is my business is going to be one of the biggest pieces for, I'm going to say, probably 70% of the people that I talk with. It's a lot. They're here for the rush. And I'm like, that's great. There's a rush on anything. Like, I started selling cars when I was 20. That first time you ever close a car deal, oh my gosh, you're like, dude, I just made like $4,000 as a 20-year-old. That's a huge rush, and it's hard to get off of that. So you're addicted to it. And if you're addicted to trading in that same way, I wait. If I'm selling a car at 20, 21, 22, I'm waiting for the next person to come in because I can't try to do anything until that next person comes in. When you're trading, you can keep trying to do something all day long and keep giving money away. It's the only profession that you can actually lose money while you're working. Business, you can definitely do that, but in a profession, losing money while you're working, And that's not a good deal. It's not a good feeling. You wake up and you're like, why did I do that? Right? What's this regret? And that's what we don't want people to experience. We do have some selling here at the second standard deviation. We're above the T+2 low of the day and then sold off. So looking to see what that interaction is. It is 123. I'm probably done trading for the day, but just wanted to give that update.
Oh, yeah, I'm definitely done here as well. I'm just gonna kind of just sit on everything. I mean, as far as upside goes, I don't know who's really buying up here today anyways. And as far as downside goes, I do not want to go against this. So the best thing would be to just kind of just hold off and wait for tomorrow. There's always a better day to trade, right?
There's always
And what we
another
were
day to
just talking
trade,
about.
and there will always be
Another
more
day,
trades, and there will always be more.
Oh yeah.
So
As
there's
long as you
nothing.
allow yourself.
Yep, unless you
So
blow yourself up.
don't full port anything thinking it's like, oh, I give up. This is my last trade. No, there's never a last trade. I've turned accounts from, $20 into something. You guys, seriously, you could do it.
For sure. All right, I'm gonna set this up. I'm gonna get the recording posted in the psychology channel. So awesome to catch up with you. We were a little bit late, both of us, but glad we got it figured out.
Oh yeah, same. Yep. It's always nice to talk to you, and I'll be looking forward to next week, Suter.
Sounds good. See you later.
And yeah, Shell Show. Thanks for joining, my man.
For sure. See you guys later.